It's the Naked Gaming Podcast with me, Lee Milner, and...
No baby this time.
Chris Barrow. Yes, no baby. Baby is in bed.
We've got
Finally.
3 baby monitors.
We've got 3 baby monitors, 2 gin and tonics, and 1 blackout blind.
Welcome to parenting.
What did you tweet today?
Oh, well, today I bought some nappies and some gin, and I said that this is parenting. What a combination.
It's so true. It's like my friend Caris came round the other day, and she saw on the drying rack. We've been through this before. What is it called?
The clothes horse.
No. What you put your dishes on. What is that? So this is what happens when you have a baby. You can't think of like words to describe things. Like you go, oh, what's that? That's that
It is
thing.
the dry.
That...
It is the. What is that called?
What is it? Surely going to edit this out later.
No, I think I'm going to leave it all in. Drainer.
A drainer,
A kitchen
right?
sink
Okay.
a dish rack or a kitchen drainer.
So my friend Caris came around the other day, and she saw on the drainer bottles, and then next to the bottles,
What, I mean baby
wine.
bottles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wine glasses. She was like, that is the definition of parenting. That was a really long-winded way of saying that story. Sorry.
But
I apologise.
The fact that he's gone to bed in his own room now has opened up some serious gaming time.
Yes, finally.
Last time we did the VR special, if you remember, and what happened to the PSVR 2? Where is it now? Is it in the attic?
don't know.
I think we stored it, didn't we?
I don't know.
You haven't binned it, have you?
Probably.
Yeah, I know what you're like.
Is that
Everything ends up in the bin. So that's in the attic. But we have got more gaming time now, which is good.
Yeah, because he goes to bed at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
And if he's a good boy, he normally sleeps quite well. He wakes up once, maybe in the night.
Yeah. And then
And
what
then
time
gets
did you wake
some-
up this morning?
9 o'clock,
9
baby.
a.m..
I feel like a new woman. That's why we're doing the podcast today. We finally got the energy.
It's been a little while since the last podcast. There's a couple of things I've noticed gaming-wise. So I took little Mini-Man to the shop, Smith's toy shop, the other day.
Is that his new nickname?
Mini-Man,
I
yeah.
like that.
Mini-Me.
Oh, I like that.
And I was wheeling him around in his old pushchair thingy. And there was so much stuff. I was like, I'm going to buy him this. I'm going to buy this. I saw a dad buy his son a PlayStation 5. I was like, that's going to be me. But it'd be like the PlayStation 20 in those years. And then I saw some Nerf guns, right? But all the Nerf guns were, this is new, were branded with Fortnite branding.
Oh.
So they were like, you know the guns you get in Fortnite, like the sniper rifle and the shotgun and whatever. All the guns had Fortnite branding on them. Fort Nerf, that's what they should have called it.
Oh.
That's good, isn't it?
Oh, maybe it's a trick.
So there's that. And the other thing is, you know how you love Beat Saber, right?
I love Beat Saber.
And recently I played the Sweet Child of Mine and the Rock pack.
We're going to see them soon.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
But Beat Saber now has a Queen pack special as well.
No way.
Bohemian Rhapsody with Beat Saber.
Oh my God.
It's available. Just saying. So after the VR special last month, we've got another special this time, but it's a sequel special, okay? Because loads of follow-up games have come out in the last month or two since our last episode. So we've got Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, hugely anticipated, highly anticipated release. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and Dead Island 2.
Yeah, there's also the appalling Lord of the Rings Gollum. Is that good? Gollum.
Better than the voice acting in the game.
And Alex Rhodes has been to the cinema to see the Mario film.
Yeah, it's all right. Is my two-word review.
Have you seen it yet?
No, it doesn't appeal to me.
I thought you would have
No,
wanted to see that one.
not really.
Why not?
I haven't seen the Sonic film either.
No.
I like playing video games, not watching video game films.
Well, that one's called Super Mario Bros. The movie.
Also, if you love retro revival, then it's good news because Pokemon Stadium is back on the Nintendo Switch.
Peel's here.
Let's check out the news first of all. Here's Lee with her big glass of rum. That is parenting right now. By the way, I'm hoping that Theo's going to kick off during this podcast so that we can all hear the baby monitor go. Lee will go and then go and saw him, or I'll go and get him. Right, ready for the news?
Always. So Apple has unveiled their ridiculously expensive augmented reality headset called Apple Vision Pro. The ridiculously expensive headset has a 2-hour battery life and will cost you £2,849 of your well-earned cash when it's released early next year in America. Apple's chief executive Tim Cook said the new ridiculously expensive headset seamlessly blends the real world and the virtual world. Sony has announced a new handheld gaming console. Now, calm down. It's called Project Q. It'll transmit PS5 games directly from the console onto its screen. Cloud gaming and remote play have never worked particularly well, so it will be interesting to see if Sony can pull it off. There's no current release date, though, just yet for Project Q.
It has an 8-inch HD screen and all of the buttons and features of the DualSense wireless controller.
The United Arab Emirates. What are you laughing for?
When I read the news at the World Service, that is my
It's hard, isn't it? Yeah,
that's
it's
my
hard with that one.
bogeyman phrase. I can't say it.
The United Arab Emirates has announced plans. Shut up!
Well done.
I got it in one then, man. Now I've got to do it again.
You just say the UAE.
I'm a pro, okay?
Okay.
The United Arab Emirates has announced plans for its first luxury gaming resort. Well, the project, costing nearly $4 billion, will be built by a US casino operator, Wynn, on an artificial beach an hour from Dubai. And in Japan, a card game shop has banned adults from buying Pokemon booster packs and is only allowing kids up to the age of 15 to buy them. It's to stop people selling the cards on, and they will even check your ID.
We have done on this podcast before how valuable some trading cards are. Did you have Pokemon cards?
Mate, did I have Pokemon cards?
The shiny ones.
Please.
All about the shiny ones.
I was obsessed with Pokemon. Like, literally. The thing is, though, I don't know where they all went.
No,
Like, I had one of those folders.
Yeah.
I don't know where they've gone. My mum and dad's probably flogged them.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Do you know what I mean?
Are they in the attic, Mum and Dad? No, we had a clear out and we sold
That's
them all.
literally what they do, though. They go, like, where I'm sure I kept Woody and Buzz from Toy Story. You know, the original toys.
That would have been worth quite a bit.
Where have they gone?
Where are they gone?
Where have they gone?
Up in the attic, off to the car boot.
They're on eBay. That's where they are.
Thank you, Lee, for the news. Now let's have some new releases. There's plenty to go through this month. We'll start with the one I've actually been looking forward to the most, Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Fear and mistrust rule the galaxy.
Cal, look into the fire. It will warm you, keep you company. But left unchecked, it will consume everything until there is only ash.
How could you let the galaxy fall to this unworthy machine of an empire?
Hope may feel beyond our grasp. But I think we finally found somewhere the Empire can't reach us.
Imagine. No more looking over your shoulder.
A place that's worth fighting for.
This looks awesome.
In COVID, I got into Star Wars. In fact, no, when you went to have some knee surgery once, I watched.
One of the many times.
When I was waiting for you to recover for the day, I think I watched 4 Star Wars films.
You did. You did.
And I really enjoyed it, and then The Mandalorian and all that. So I'm kind of into it now. This is my vibe now. So I'm into it. I played the first game, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, I think it was called before, and this one, Jedi Survivor, it's exactly the same game.
Right. Okay.
It runs on the PS5.
Yeah.
It looks a little bit better. It runs a little bit smoother, although some of the animation's jerky, which I'm kind of like, come on.
It's PS5, man.
It's PS5 now. Like, there's so many games out there that are smooth.
Like, a lot of these games to do with Star Wars are very, very similar, I find.
It's all about the lightsaber combat.
Right.
And if that's no good, bin it straight away.
So the big question is, how is this any different?
So it's not different from the last game, but I would just say if you really like the last game, it's kind of just more of exactly the same. This lightsaber combat is awesome, which means that it's well worth buying. And this time, the only difference is that instead of having one lightsaber fighting style, you can have different ones. So you can have dual stance, you can have them
different
stuck
combos.
together, you can have one-handed, all that stuff. So you've got different ways of fighting.
Does it look any better?
No, I really
Because
honestly
you think from
it
a
looks the
Star
same.
Wars game, how much, God, these games, they're literally raking so much money.
Millions, billions,
Right, you think it
so
would look
much.
pristine.
It's really good, and if you liked the last one, you obviously will be buying it. I would say that if you are a fan of the Star Wars universe, the story is it's pretty good, but maybe not as good as the last one. It's a little bit like God of War Ragnarok. Like the sequel is much more of the same, but maybe just not as special because it wasn't the first sort of amazing breakthrough in the way that they did the games.
Are you just basically fighting, or can you fly things?
You're fighting 99% of the time. You've got story.
Which one is it that you have the race?
Pod racer. Yeah, we did that recently.
My
Yeah,
God.
it's really fun, isn't it?
Love that.
Everyone loves pod racer.
Who doesn't?
I would say it's just slightly less good than the last one. It's like an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. But honestly, the budget for this game is like the last one. The characters are very good. Your lead guy, Cal Kestis, is still very cool. Really brilliant actor who plays him. So it's more of the same, but I would recommend, you just get it if you like Star Wars.
How much are we talking, though?
It's £70. But there's a lot of game to get here. It's on PlayStation, PC, and Xbox.
£70 or just more of the same?
Well, you can get it for $62 with EA Play, so I would recommend doing that. It is well worth it, though. I think if you like a bit of Star Wars lightsaber combat, and there's not that much Star Wars action now. There's, the Mandalorian series coming and stuff, but nice little gap filler. A little bit expensive, but I would recommend it. Can we do Zelda now?
Yeah, go on.
Desperate
then.
for
Go
Zelda.
on then.
This is the sequel to Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
Tears of the Kingdom.
We rely on your knight and that legendary sword he carries. Our last line of defense will be Link.
Link. I know why I am here. It's something only I can do. Link! You must find me.
Does it look the same? Is it the same feel? It's a bit like, for me, when you have these sequels, I'm always expecting just the same again.
I mean, the sequel special, that is the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, what is it more of the same, or is there anything that's better? So right, unlike Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is it's a game changer. This, so the graphics are significantly better.
Better?
Significantly better.
I didn't think you could get better with Zelda.
It's because the shading's there, the colour palette is different. Each area has a kind of
because they usually have like
theme.
very beautiful pastel colours, and it's all very kind of arty.
It's brighter this time. I'd say the game is brighter. When you start off in the opening area, there's a lot of gold colours, and there's a lot of trees and autumnal feel, and then you've got these robot things that are kind of guiding you through. The problem with this one is that everybody loved the first Zelda.
I mean, not everybody.
On the Switch. Well, if you didn't, you're just stop listening now. You can leave. You're welcome to leave. But for a game where the first thing that you see is the lips not syncing with the voice,
you think, oh man,
I was immediately like, oh come on.
Yeah.
There's not that many cutscenes. Like, would it have been that difficult? Okay, I'm prepared to let that go.
This is why I don't watch the cutscenes.
You just skip them.
Just saying.
The graphics are better, but there's still little problems. Like if you've got a big sword and then you walk up to a wall, the sword will sort of cut through the wall. It disappears through the wall. I really hate
that.
It destroys the illusion. I know this is nitpicking, right? And
No,
look,
it's not,
everyone loves this
it's
game.
It's not nitpicking, right? We're in 2023, man.
Yeah.
Things like this should be sorted.
It should have been sorted. This is the biggest game that the Switch has been expecting
for goodness sake,
years.
we're not like in like 1999 when like Tomb Raider was out and we're like, you literally
That'll
walk
do.
through walls, Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a much scarier game. I would say that the whole point of this one that's different, right? So in Zelda, the first one, it was amazing because you could cook special food, you could build your weapons, and they broke, and you had to keep, grabbing new bows and arrows and defeating monsters and all that on the way. That's all there. But this time, you've got mind-blowing like physics. So you have these special powers where you can glue stuff together. So like there's a rock in front of you and you've got your shield. So you glue the rock onto the shield and it becomes a stronger rock shield. And you can do that with literally anything. So you've got a sword and you've got a big long wooden stick.
So it's a bit more
you glue them
imaginative.
together.
Okay.
It becomes like a sandbox, like Lego. You can build stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever you see, you can join it together. You can make a hovercraft out of a tree and a fan and an engine. You can build all that stuff. So that's incredible. But I think you're sacrificing how good the story is for all these physics and these kind of clever gameplay. Now, and the thing I love about Zelda has always been the story. And does Link, who you play as, end up getting with Zelda? That's all we care about. That's all anybody wants to know. Do they love each other? Are they going to get together? So I think the story is weaker. And I think for me that's a shame because that's why I liked playing the game.
So if you had to give it a mark out of 10...
How can you not give it a 9? You know, it's still this generation's definitive game for the Switch.
So here's a question. For, dare I say it, this is where we'll lose people listening now. No. Dare I say it, I have not really played the whole way through of any of the Zelda games.
I know, and the old ones are available on the Switch as well.
I've just dipped dipped my toe. Now, if I was to ask you, which of all of them, like right from the beginning, which Zelda game should I play that will take my breath away?
Take your breath of Hyrule, breath of the Wild away.
What would you recommend?
I'd say Ocarina of Time is the one to start with. Not this one to start with. Ocarina of Time if you want the original experience, and then probably Breath of the Wild. After
you love that one, don't you?
Everyone loves that one, but. The thing is, okay, you can put a rock on your shield, right? And now, amazing, you can combine all this stuff together. But then you're running around with a shield with a massive rock on it. It looks dumb. You know, I can put a rock on the end of my sword and I've got a sword club. And I think, but this looks
wrong.
This looks stupid. I look like an idiot. You know, it's too goofy sometimes. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, how much is it?
60 quid on the Switch, which is...
compared to the Star Wars game. You're getting a bargain.
You're getting £2 less if you don't join EA Play.
You should just... Are you working for these guys?
If only.
Stop kidding around. Snake?
You think that the zombie genre would be finished, right? Because there've been so many...
Well, you bloody hope so.
Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead 2, Back 4 Blood.
You love all these.
Dead Island.
What I don't get about you is you like zombie games, but you're scared to death of them. You scream like a little girl.
What I like about zombie games is when I'm beating the zombie game, I feel like I'm conquering fear.
That's how I feel when I go in to change Theo's nappy.
What, and he doesn't scream the place down? I have conquered fear itself.
No, I feel like I've conquered something.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Yes. You have conquered fear itself. Yeah. But if you don't, and if you scream the place down...
You don't know what you're going to get, man.
It's always fun.
Russian roulette.
So Dead Island 2 has just come out. This is the trailer.
Say something.
I'm not a zombie. I'm immune.
You know you do.
I'm immune!
Now, you know Deathloop, which is a game that we raved about before.
Yeah.
Where you kind of...
It's really cool.
Super slick animations. You play as Colt and you're running through and you're taking out bad guys really quickly and all that. It's like that, but with zombies. And you bash the zombies a lot with anything you can find. So like a snooker cue.
Cool,
and I tell you what, the beginning and the opening section, the kind of the intro to the game was probably one of the best intro to any games I've ever played since BioShock 1, because you believe all the characters. The voice acting was absolutely next level. There's like a plane crash and you wake up and you're one of the survivors. There's a few other survivors with you and you're walking through the fuselage and there's all these dead bodies and stuff. And you literally believe you're there. And then this posh English TV anchor turns up.
Oh, here we go.
Hello.
Is it you?
No, it's you. No,
it's me.
It's you doing your impression of a
fake posho.
It's you doing
You're
your
the real
impression.
posh one.
And she goes, everything is just so believable. It's like unbelievably written. She loses her shoes and she's got an assistant and he's kind of pandering after her and you end up at her house and all this stuff. It's really, really good. I loved it. Bashing the zombies was excellent. I was loving this game. And then when you get to her house and then the zombies keep coming and then you bash them in the head again and then the next lot of zombies come and then you bash them in the head again.
It's not one of the games where you have to bash them like 300 times to kill them.
Yes, and that's the problem. As we all know, and I'll say this as many times as I need to until they start making games like this, Zombies die with one shot in the head.
Do they?
The
How
end.
do you know? You're like a zombie expert.
The end.
How do you know?
Because that's the way that all the films work.
No.
If a zombie runs at you, shoot them in the head.
I heard
the
you
end.
had to shoot them in the head and then in the private parts.
Is that how you're going to play this game?
I mean, that's just what I was told as a kid. Hang on a minute.
By who?
Was it by strangers or by
Your parents raised you in a strange way.
I grew up in a Wakefield, man.
Was that the Wakefield advice? Go for the private area.
Always.
Okay.
Anyway, we're going on a tangent. So it's one of those games again.
It became stale, and it was such a shame because it was honestly, I was ready to sink about 50 hours into this.
But couldn't you change the difficulty?
No, it's not really that. It's just the way that they've designed it. You have to kill 20 zombies to do this. You start running through areas thinking, I'm not going to fight the zombies because I don't want to.
No,
I'm going to try and sneak past them. And then you think, well, hang on, why am I playing? There's no point to this game then. It's lost the whole thing. And then later they bring in guns that are just a bit rubbish. And you think, oh, it's like a huge slide from the awesome opening. But if you've got literally free money to burn, play the beginning because the first hour was some of the best gameplay I've really played for a very long time. It started off as a 9 out of 10 and it slid down to about a 7 or a 6 out of 10, to be honest with you. The characters were brilliant, though. So even better characters in this than in Star Wars and in Zelda. No, they were brilliant. They were brilliant. But yeah.
Well done to the actors. At the end of the day, we're here to play the game, man.
You can play online with 3 people, so maybe that would be a game changer a little bit. But I still think it would get boring after a while. But anyway, it's out on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, and it's £60.
Busy night, but there's always room for another.
Okay, Chris has written the most rubbish joke here, so I'm just going to read what I've got in front of me. So, it's a him, Alex.
Right, see, that's funny, right? Because it's Alex instead of Mario.
It's a me. It's a him.
It's a me, Lee.
I do. I'm so sorry for that.
Oh, thanks.
Wait, I'm not finished yet. I love mushrooms. Mushrooms. I say mushrooms, don't I? I say mushrooms. Mushrooms roads.
Alex, I love mushrooms roads.
Hello, Chris and Lee. It's Alex here, not with a video game review this month, but with a movie review. I'll give you some hints. It's made $1 billion at the box office. It's going to spawn countless sequels, no doubt. It seems like everyone on planet Earth has now seen it, judging by just how much money it's made. It is, of course, the new Super Mario Bros. Movie.
All right. Let's go.
So first of all, is it any good? Well, yeah, it's all right. Is my two-word review. It's all right, basically. I think the first thing to say off the bat is that this is a kids' movie, okay? This is not the sort of genre of Pixar movie that we might have got used to in that, yeah, it's ostensibly for children, but there's jokes in there for adults too, something for mum and dad to watch while the kids are enjoying themselves. No, this is just a kids' movie, basically. And to describe the plot, it's very much like the plot of the Mario games. Bowser captures Princess Peach, Mario has to go and rescue her. That's basically it. Everything you think probably happens does happen, and it's fine. It's done in about 85 minutes, 90 minutes, something like that. So perfect if your kids are bouncing off the walls, you want to shut them up for a bit. It's got loads of bright colours and it's going to keep them quiet whilst Mario does his thing on the big screen. So in a few years when Theo is causing mayhem, Chris and Lee, just stick this on. Keep this on DVD, get it ready. Yeah, as I say, it's very faithful to the sort of video games in that it's very sort of simplistic and very sort of stripped back in terms of storyline. You're not going to get many twists and turns there. This isn't Game of Thrones Mushroom Kingdom edition or anything like that. It looks great. It looks amazing. The animation is really, really nice. Everyone looks how you would expect and would want them to. Also, everyone sounds how you would want them to as well. There was a load of concern, I know, when the trailer came out and the character announcement came out that Chris Pratt was going to be voicing Mario. And he does a great job. He does a really good job. He doesn't really sound much like Chris Pratt, which is good. And he sounds like Mario in a way that isn't annoying, because you actually don't want, like Charles Martinet, the guy who does Mario in the games, to be doing the voice the entire way through. That would get quite annoying if he has a lot of dialogue. Other characters, Charlie Day from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, he does Luigi. Jack Black does a great job as Bowser. Anna Taylor-Joy is Peach as well. Some other characters and big names sprinkled in there too. Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong, for example. Quite a good fit, it turns out, quite a good fit. Before we get into sort of wider things and what this movie is definitely going to cause, as well as more sequels itself, biggest sort of gripe with it, Also, weirdest decision, and clearly done by a studio. So it's got quite a nice soundtrack in terms of like, you know, it is mixes, sort of theatrical mixes of the classic Mario soundtrack. However, it will weirdly also do like Thunderstruck by AC/DC and other weird, like, there's a Beastie Boys track in there, and it's just like really odd, clunky, like needle drops that clearly someone was like, oh, yeah, we're in Brooklyn. How do we convey we're in Brooklyn? Oh, let's put No Sleep Till Brooklyn in by the Beastie Boys. You know, how do we sort of convey this as like a suiting up moment? Let's do Thunderstruck by AC/DC. It's really like on the nose, bottom of the barrel kind of stuff, really. And when you've got like a IP, an intellectual property, with something where the music is baked in and is widely recognized as one of the greatest soundtracks in video games, why do you cloud it up with all this weird sort of like, you know, needle drop pop music, rock music that you just kind of sprinkle in at random? It's really strange, but it's a minor quibble, really. This is going to mean that, you know, video game adaptations are certainly going to be the next big thing for Hollywood. This and The Last of Us has basically proven that. Disney and every other big movie studio in Hollywood is going to be eyeing up whatever game they can get their eyes on, because they think, you know what, maybe superheroes don't have the juice anymore. Let's do a film adaptation, a gritty 12-part HBO adaptation of Mrs. Pac-Man or something like that. We're going to get a lot of trash. We hopefully might get some gems as well. It's weird in that, like, when it started making these astronomical numbers at the box office and had that huge opening weekend, the biggest opening weekend of any animated movie, beating Frozen 2. All the sort of like main Hollywood analysts and things like that, people from Deadline and stuff, were like shocked and like, oh, I can't believe it. What's going on? You know, who knew that this would be so big? It was obvious. Like, Mario is one of the most recognizable characters in the world. There are undiscovered tribes in the Amazon who, if you showed them a picture of Mario, they'd be like, oh, it's that guy from the video games. So he's, you know, combine that with like a short film, a film that's purposely marketing itself to children, not to 30-year-old neckbeards like me, sniggering into our IPAs at the cinema, surrounded by families with their kids. They purposely were like, no, we don't want you people there. No, we'll give you a bit of something. You'll turn up anyway, you losers, but we're going to make sure that the kids are going to enjoy themselves. They're not going to have to sit there too long. Mum and Dad, I think that's a great way of, you know, spending the Easter weekend or whenever it came out. So, yeah, we're going to get a load more video game adaptations. We're going to probably get about 10 sequels to this film. This has made Nintendo buttloads of money. It'll be interesting to see what other games get the call up. Will we get like a Nintendo universe? Will we get like a Samus movie? A Metroid movie? You know, we've already had like the Castlevania adaptations on Netflix and things like that. Are we going to see more of the sort of big Nintendo things? Maybe. Who knows? Will we finally get a Legend of Zelda TV show or movie? You would think so, wouldn't you? You would think we would do that, and it would probably be animated as well. Why would you try and risk it on getting, inevitably, Tom Holland to play Link or someone like that in a live action, when clearly there is an appetite for this very sort of faithful look to the video games? We also had Uncharted out not that long ago, which was okay. It made a decent amount of money, though. There'll probably be a sequel. So, you know, the age of the video game on the silver screen is back, and it's going to be, you know, bigger than ever. So, finally, just to sort of summarise, it's a decent film. It's a kids' film. The soundtrack is really weird. The voice actors are good. The animation is great. And it's overall about a 3-star film. It's exactly what you think you're going to get, you get.
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks,
Rose.
Alex. I mean, we send him on some pretty good jobs,
It's the first time he's done a cinema review, though,
instead
of a gaming review. I quite liked it.
Maybe he can be like our entertainment correspondent.
He does.
There's no pay rise, by
the way. He makes me laugh.
There's no pay grade, like, you know.
There's no progression.
No progression in our.
Sorry, Alex.
There's one more game to mention before we have to say farewell.
Well, no, before we do Retro Revival.
Okay.
But anyway, it's fine. It's fine. Go on, keep going. It's all right. I mean, you can go. You can go if you want.
This is going great.
Feel
isn't
free
it today?
to.
This is going great. Look, this is the highly anticipated Lord of the Rings.
Gnaws iron, bites steel, grinds hard stones to kneel. So shiny, yes, so beautiful. My precious.
I tell you what, this was a hard game to play because I love Lord of the Rings.
You do.
My favourite films.
Would you count yourself as like a bit of a geek?
Yeah. My favourite films in order are Lord of the Rings 2, Lord of the Rings 3,
God.
and then Lord of the Rings 1. That's not the baby monitor going off, is it? Oh no, you just got a text message.
No, it's just my mum.
Okay, what's she saying? What's
Something
going on?
off Theo's hair.
Oh yeah, he's grown some hair today. He's got more hair than Gollum.
Wow.
He's got 3 hairs.
Oh, that's
Which is
nice.
cute, isn't it? But this game, oh my goodness me.
Right.
So you start off as Gollum, and the intro.
Gollum.
I mean, the voice acting is okay, but you're so used to what you hear in the film
Look,
that it's
available.
not the same.
If you're listening right now, I am available. I can do the part.
You can't just say I'm available. You have to say I'm available for voice acting. I am available. I'm available. It's fine.
In life.
It's fine. We're married.
I'm
Don't
not
worry
doing much.
Don't worry. We're married. It's fine. So all of the models, like the Gollum model, the walls, all of the kind of what they call the in-game assets, everything is too low resolution. The graphics are too bad. So that's the starting point. The voicing is pretty good. Not as good as Andy Serkis from the films, but it's pretty good.
Does Andy Serkis do this?
No, but the voices are okay.
Right, answer me this. Why don't the actors who play the characters in the movies do it for the games?
Because they're probably not paid enough money. Or Andy Serkis is a busy man because he is a huge CGI film director and he does like Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Rise of the Fall of the Planet of the Apes. He does that. He does everything. He's a busy man. So he probably doesn't have time to do the voice for this game. Fair enough.
I am available all the time and I'm mega cheap.
Well, that's true. There's this. What's really funny is that then Gandalf appears, but he's not called Gandalf. I don't know if they didn't pay for the rights to call him Gandalf, but it just says wizard in the voiceover. It's like, don't,
wizard, Harry.
We know it's Gandalf, so don't just say wizard. It's all of it. The whole environment was dull. The platforming was rubbish.
There's nothing worse than a dull kind of, when everything's dark and you're straining to see, and you're like. It's like being back in the 1990s when you're like, you can't really see anything, so you have to turn all the lights off and get the blackout blinds.
It's beige. The whole world is beige here. Now, when you're sprinting, you can sprint for 3 seconds and then that's it for Gollum.
I mean, that's me these days.
Whereas he can hang off a ledge for days.
I mean, it is Gollum.
I just didn't get that. And there's the other thing where there's these orcs with helmets on, and because they have a helmet, you literally can't kill them. Whereas if they don't, you can strangle them to death. It's like, I don't think that helmets have neck protection necessarily. There's just so many weird decisions about this game. And for one of the best characters, to play a game as Gollum, he's got 2 personalities fighting against each other. There's so much that could have been done.
So much potential.
Right, and it just misses the boat.
So out of 10,
2 for the 2 personalities he has.
Harsh, man.
Rubbish. You just can't have fun playing it, and it's £40 on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. But hilarious, right? This will make you laugh. There's a Precious edition.
You didn't do it in the voice.
No, but you're going to do it because you're available.
Oh yeah. Wait. There's also a Precious edition.
Worryingly good. Precious the word precious can mean expensive. Well, this literally is just an expensive edition because it's 52 quid, and you don't really get like anything else except for a downloadable voiceover where the elves speak in a special language, and that's literally kind of it. Anyway, that's enough of that.
Hello, follow me. Okay.
Pokemon Stadium, shall we? Did you ever play Pokemon Stadium as a kid? What do you remember? So Pokemon Stadium, there was the main bit where you fought the Pokemon battles without the Pokemon exploring. You just literally it was just a fighting mode.
Yeah.
But then there was all the mini games.
Yes.
And I forgot about the mini games, and I was playing this, and I thought they're so good.
Yeah.
There's like throw the Ekans snake on the what's it called?
Like
Dig Dug Trio,
it reminds
whatever.
me a little bit of Sonic the Hedgehog because you had the main game and then you could also play the little bonus games
like the
as well.
fast sprinting sections. So look, GoldenEye was remastered, and I thought it was shocking because the controls were terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I just hope this isn't another GoldenEye situation because...
And was it?
It was fun, but just not for long enough. Like the mini games were awesome for about 10 minutes. I enjoyed that. The problem is that the best thing about Pokemon Stadium was that, when you played on the Game Boy, you would get your Pokemon from the Game Boy and you could transfer them.
Yes, that was
into
like
Pokemon
that
Stadium.
Was mind blowing.
Right, and then your own Pokemon could be trained up in the Pokemon Stadium and then put back into your main
did
game.
you have like a little attachment?
Yeah, like a link cable or whatever they used to call it.
A link cable.
Right.
You could swap, couldn't you?
Yes. You could trade Pokemon with people.
Trade Pokemon.
So this version of Pokemon Stadium, the big catch, pun intended.
Sorry, we've already lost all our listeners way back.
Way back on the first review.
That was available.
You can't transfer your Pokemon into the game.
Oh, this is rubbish.
So that was the whole point.
Yeah.
So and the whole point was that you could see your Pokemon in 3D.
Yes.
That was the kicker. So to not be able to do that means that you can't coach your own Butterfree to Pokemon Stadium Glory or whatever. Your Jigglypuff, you can't do it. So you end up playing with the generic Pokemon which you have no connection to, and so therefore it's lost all of its charm. So it's getting a 1 out of 10.
Wow.
It's the basic. Get the basics right before you bother doing anything else.
How much is it?
It's free if you have a Nintendo Switch Online.
Oh, well, I mean,
which is not...
Maybe bump it up to a 2 then.
All right, it's a 2 then. That's it.
Is that it?
That is it. The end. I've got some... So these are the games that we've got to play for next month, okay?
I like how he says got to play.
You're playing Crash Team Rumble, which is like Smash Brothers, but with all the Crash characters. Yes! So it's like a fighting, jumping around thing.
This sounds right up my street.
We've also got Redfall, which is very badly reviewed all over the place, but it's by the people who did Dishonored, my favourite game series where you're an assassin. So I'm looking forward to that, even though people are not reviewing it that well. I think it looks good. And Diablo 4.
Diablo.
Where you basically kill monsters for days.
So that's right up your street, isn't it?
Yeah, I like Diablo.
As long as it doesn't take more than one swipe.
Well, yeah, that's kind of one of the problems with Diablo. I liked the mobile phone version they did, which was free, though. That was really awesome. And that was a kind of lead-in to Diablo 4. I've got it sitting there on the PS5, and now that Theo's in bed in the evenings, you can do whatever you want for 6 hours, and I'll go and play Diablo.
You know what I'd like to know? I'd like to know what are people starting their kids off on?
That's a good question.
Like
first game ever.
Because you've always said that you'd want to start them on the most rubbish console.
Yeah.
So get the Sega Mega Drive out the loft.
It's the same with TV. I want them to watch terrible telly.
Right.
So that
and
when
work
they're
your way
watching
up.
Mind-blowing...
Don't just go straight in and give them the PS5.
Don't go with Breaking Bad to start with on TV. Or don't PS5. Start with the PS1.
So we'd start Theo on Altered Beast on the Sega Mega Drive and say...
Game Boy.
Oh, wow.
Come on. The Game Boy, but the grey one.
Oh, wow. That's cruel.
No, he can play Mario.
Not even the colour version.
No, because he can upgrade. He can have that for his sixth birthday.
Christmas, yeah. So what are people like? How are they introducing gaming to their kids?
That's a good question.
What console, what games, how do you control how much screen time they have? If you have any tips for us, I mean, our baby's only 4 months old, but you never know when he's 6 months old.
Well, he's already started
hold the controller.
When Paw Patrol is on the laptop, he's already started reaching for the screen, hasn't he? Which is slightly worrying. And he presses the buttons. I'm like, can you just not do that, please?
Look, get in touch the usual way.
At Naked Gaming Pod, we're on Twitter. There's also Facebook and all the usual places.
Right, that's it. And we'll see you next time here on the Naked Gaming Podcast.